Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Community Spotlight, brought to you by ATB Wealth, where we shine a light on incredible people, businesses, and initiatives making an impact in our community. Today, we're joined by ATB Wealth. Brittney and Tina, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
So we're going to dive into the world of financial wellness, education, all that fun stuff. And I kind of, when I was kind of preparing for it, started thinking about like financial literacy a little bit as well, because I feel like we don't teach that in school, and our kids graduate and we don't know anything about money other than how to spend it. The kids are really good at spending it.
Yes, they are.
And then we want to talk a little bit about your lunch and learn program you guys are doing. But before we jump into that, I've always loved to hear sort of your guys' story. I know we were chatting before we went live here on. So what got you into the financial services? Like how did that story? Where did the story start there? Maybe if you want to go first on sort of your background on that.
Yeah. So I've been in since about 2007. Well, not about 2007. And I actually, I did a total switch. I was in the health industry, like a personal trainer, that kind of thing, owned a gym. Yeah. And was looking for a career change, and this opportunity came up to get into this industry, and I thought, perfect, great way for me to learn my own self. And I've loved it ever since. I just couldn't learn enough, and taking it to my family and helping them, watching my kids, because like you said, not learning it in school.
Or even adults don't know.
No, and that's where I was too. So
interesting.
Yeah.
How about you, Brittney?
Yeah, so I started young. My parents are entrepreneurs, and they own multiple different businesses. So I started out in their retail stores and helping their customers and getting to work the cash register. That was my favorite part. And so just when I started researching careers around when I was 13 or 14, financial planning was one of those options. And I was like, cool, I think that's what I want to do. So I went straight into the industry, and so I've been working only in this industry, and I started out in 2013. 2013.
Oh, interesting. And for people who maybe not familiar, we just talked about you guys 2 years now in the Kelowna market. So almost, tell us a little about ATB Wealth, what you guys do. If we walk into your branch, or your location, I guess I should say, what services, what products do you guys offer? How do you work with clients?
You want me to take that? So we're a wealth-only office, and basically you come into the office and we help with anything financial related, like financial planning. So that's anything, help manage your investments, but also take that step back and get you set up so that you are properly invested, and there's a plan in place for you for. If it's a goal or if it's retirement, like different kind of things. So just getting to know you and helping you kind of get set up and taking it from there.
Love it. One thing that I know is important to ATB Wealth is community, because it seems like every event we go to, you guys are at. So we were just at an event together, and you're just saying another one this weekend coming up. So can you speak a little bit about like why it's important for you guys to get into community? Because I think kudos to you, because you're a team of 2 here, or 3, I guess. Sorry, right? You do have 3, I should say, but you're everywhere.
We are.
So can you speak a little bit about why you're in the community, and why that's important to you guys?
Yeah, community has been massive for ATB as a whole, but also for us individually. Like, we love giving back and volunteering our time. And being able to do it now with ATB for bringing that awareness to financial literacy and the education component, because finances are tricky, and it's been more of a taboo topic, and people don't like talking about finances. So we're really trying to just bring awareness to it. And if we can have one takeaway from people that we meet, that they leave going, cool, I can implement this one small thing, and hopefully that multiplies in their lives, and that's what gets us going. So
interesting.
Yeah, and ATB Wealth really has a strong, being community focused is really a backbone of what they do.
Yeah.
And being new to BC now.
Right.
Just that much more important. We want to get out and just kind of let everybody else know what ATB is all about, and just connect with people in the community and give back, and it's been great.
It's interesting because at the summit, the Chic Experience Summit, there was your team from Calgary came up, and it was so cool to see like a table full pretty much. It was really neat, like because you don't, it is time away from family. I get it's not easy for some people to do that stuff, so that's how important it is. And interesting, one thing that you said that I thought was interesting. I think some of the topics that are coming around even at our table with. You didn't talk about money we didn't talk about money growing up. It was it was the taboo, and I don't know why, but it was. Like you don't talk about it at the dinner table. You just argue over politics or religion, right? But you don't talk about money, which is the important one to talk about. So and I think that for me, it's like I have kids in school or some once graduated. They don't teach that. Like they don't teach that side of it, and sometimes from a parent. You don't even you never got taught that, right? Growing up, I didn't. You kind of so. I know one thing that's you guys have launched is like a lunch and learn program. So, and I think that's kudos to you guys because I think that's an important part of the education side of it, right? So, can we speak a little bit about the lunch and learn, what it's about? I know you have. I think you've done a couple already, and there's a couple more coming. Can you just talk about that program a little bit?
Yeah, of course. So, Tina and I kind of put our heads together because we really love. Helping people and then just bringing awareness. So we created the Lunch and Learn. So where if you're a business, even a small business to a larger business, you can reach out to us. We have different topics you can choose from. So we come in, we bring lunch, and we go over the topic that you've chosen. So we have some that are ready to go. So called Road to Financial Wellbeing is the first one, Essentials of Investing, key retirement risks and how to overcome them, and how to choose your financial planner, because again, not many people know how to find that relationship. So we talk about things to look for there. And
Well, you guys customize topics based on the need as well. I know you have some.
We can for sure. Okay. Absolutely. We just wanted to kind of give a guide.
Because sometimes you don't know what you don't know.
And I mean, one of the last ones we did, we didn't even get to complete the whole thing just because the conversation was, and that's what we want is people to feel like they can ask those questions and not feel silly because I should know them, but maybe they don't know them, and that's kind of was a big push behind why we want to do this. Is just to get out and help people become more financially aware and literate, I guess, so they can, do better for themselves.
And in a safe environment where they can ask us the questions that, again, we had someone from our last one just say, like, thank you. I sat down with someone before and they just assumed I should know everything. So I was just like, but here they're like, we could actually ask you to understand. And they had some really great takeaways. So,
I am a little sad that you didn't bring us lunch, though, I have to say. So we could have lunch and learn here.
We could have had lunch and learn,
Did you get your order in?
So I'm curious on when it comes to sort of the format of the lunch and learns, when it comes to, let's say, the topics you outlined, are you giving a presentation and then or is it all Q&A? What is sort of the format you guys are doing with businesses?
Yeah, so we have presentations ready to go. So, and we give you a handout as well with some of the materials. So you have take-home materials, but it's still informal. So even though we have slides and things we're going over, it's ask questions as they come up, kind of free flow that way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The presentation's there for us to, keep on track to follow, but we definitely, there's lots of questions and answers throughout the whole, it's very interactive. And we want it to be that way, to have that conversation and for people to feel comfortable to have that conversation, right? That's probably the biggest thing.
Are you, what are you guys hearing from businesses and employees? Like, what are some of the questions or concerns or worries they're having right now? Is there something that kind of stands out for you from what you're hearing from them?
I think.
Well, I mean, there's always the big questions everybody has is like, how much is enough? And, am I going to be okay?
Depends
right?
on what you want to spend.
Exactly. But more just trying to like understanding the difference between like a real good clarification on even some basic things like the difference between different types of investment accounts or like what is used for this and how does that work and things like that. And then, investing, talking about different, market, how do the markets, like volatility, timing the markets, different kind of, how different investment options work, like just some, and like some basic questions to some more detailed questions.
Are the sessions mainly focused around with the employees, or will you work with the business owners as well? Like on the business side, you do both?
Yeah, we can do both. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I mean, it was kind of, for the premise was for the employees, like the actual lunch and learns, but we can definitely tailor something for the employer as well.
Yeah.
So,
And it doesn't matter the industry.
Nope.
So if like someone's listening, like, we're in, we want to book, what do they do?
Yeah.
Reach out
to us. I'm not sure.
What's the best way to reach out to you? Is it go to the website, or is there an email that should be, or a phone number? What's the best way for them to?
Well, we've got our office phone number, or they can just email each one of us, or either one of us individually. And I mean, they can go to the website, but I mean, I like more direct myself.
Yeah.
So
or even LinkedIn too. Like you can find us both on LinkedIn.
And we can put the information in the follow-up article as well, and people can click through and if they want to book as well, because I think this is it's such an important topic. Like it really does. Like I said, I know that. Are you guys actually doing anything in the schools? Are you actually going into schools and teaching any of this financial literacy stuff, or not yet?
Well, independently, like Brittney does with.
So I'm with Junior Achievement,
Yeah.
JA
Awesome.
British Columbia. So I help volunteer with one of their programs in grade 8-9 classes, and then Tina volunteers with
Launch Okanagan. So it's more like to anyone, really, to either learn some basic financial literacy skills, like, going through budgeting, how credit works, all those kind of things. But as far as going into school, like there's so many, I've heard of lots of talk of that coming into the curriculum, but outside of like things like Junior Achievers.
You're not seeing
I don't know how,
Interesting.
Which is unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, because I think it's one area that we just don't teach our kids, like, which we teach everything but that, like, which is, I find it interesting, but it's good that we're kind of going to the next level, because a lot of these students that graduate, they go work for businesses. Now, if you can get into the businesses and actually talk about it, at least they're getting some, because that's when they're starting to earn the dollars, is when they, what happens to that dollar, what you should do with it, right? So,
absolutely.
Which is interesting on that side. But you guys are actually at an event this weekend. You're doing a workshop?
We are.
And it's through QUIB, so
Quote Women Business.
And you'll be doing a workshop on what? What are you guys doing?
So we're doing one on money mindset. So
okay, cool.
Basically the key to unlocking your financial freedom.
Interesting. And we're not sure. We think there's tickets. We're not sure if there's tickets.
I think there's still tickets available.
Yeah, absolutely.
You go to the Quote Women Business site and you can go catch it in. So what's one, like when you're doing these lunch and learns, or not, even when you're talking to people either through one-on-one or events, like what's one key takeaway you would love people to just know? Like, is there a misconception about financial planning or anything that you would love just to, like, fundamentals, like break it down to the fundamental? I use ChatGPT. I'm like, explain it to me like I'm in grade 5. So Rob's in grade 5. Like, what are some fundamentals that you would say to someone that just maybe hasn't really explored, like hasn't looked at their financial planning or investing or anything like that?
Well, not to give away our whole workshop this weekend, but really, I think learning your relationship with money and how you view and value money, because that will be your foundation to anything that you do with your finances.
Right.
And to be curious, and it's okay that you if you don't know what you don't know, that's okay. Right. Like find out how to get started. Like there's so many resources out there, and just talk to somebody and just get started. Like it's not as, I mean, there's a lot in the financial world for sure, absolutely, but you don't have to know everything to get started. For sure. Right? Like it's just, and it takes off so much stress. Like when you know that I've got something in place. It's kind of like, cleaning out the messy closet. Like, I got to clean like it. Yeah. So. And
it's usually, I would say, not that, I can speak for myself, usually money is the root of a lot of people's stress, right? Because, and sometimes it's just because you just need to plan. You just need to sit down and actually do it rather than avoid it, right? So are you finding, has there been good uptake in the lunch and learns? I think you've done a couple of them now. Like, are you seeing that businesses or there's a willingness for business owners to bring you guys in to talk to their team and about this stuff?
100%. Again, it's a free resource for them to leverage, and we're really coming in for the educational component, so that the employees and the business owner can hopefully have a takeaway to help improve their financial lives, and just also knowing they're not alone. Like they have people they can lean on and ask questions, and that's what we're here for.
And we bring lunch.
And we bring lunch. Yeah.
You just have to provide the space, which is, you know what I mean? So it's,
Love it. We were talking before about AI and automation and what you're saying about like there's lots of information out there, and there's lots of bad information out there. Too. That's the, you know, you can go on TikTok and Instagram and everyone's a financial expert and telling you to buy these stocks. And so how do you work with your clients to make sure like they're not, you know, believing everything they see and hear out there? Like, are you meeting regularly with, like, is it a monthly meeting? Like, you know, how's that communication so they don't see something on a TikTok channel or an Instagram and start freaking out that they're going to lose all their money or something like that? Like, how do you manage that with your clients' relationship?
Yeah, so every client is individual and completely different. So there's some that we talk to very frequently, and there's others that we put their plan in place. So like we put their plan in place, and we still communicate with them, but they're a bit less frequent because they're not reading those articles or doing those deep dives on social media. But the ones that do, again, like we're relationship based, so it's conversation. So they'll call us up and they're like, "Hey, I saw this. Can you explain it to me?"
Give me your thoughts.
We chat about it.
Interesting.
Yeah, or there's something going on with tariffs and what does that look like? You know, so you just, you know, it's talking with them, having that relationship. Oh yeah, we weren't going to talk politics.
Yes,
but just having that relationship, like Brittney said, for them to feel comfortable to call and have question and what is this, you know, what does this mean and what's going on and just having that ongoing relationship and trust together. So
well, and I think I don't want to get into politics, but there's uncertainty. Like it or not, announcement, tariffs, things in the news, and you get worried, right? Because a lot of people are, they're saying, especially if you're close to retirement or, you know, you're seeing it, you can just see it, it's coming. And then all of a sudden you read stuff in the media or you hear things, there's panic, right? So part of it, I would assume you become part counselor, for lack of a better word, for people, just to, you know, have just an outlet to have those discussions. Because if not, they might go online and search and they might get the wrong information, right? So even just being that sounding board is important 100%. Too, right? So,
absolutely.
Yeah, interesting. So is there one piece of financial advice that most people maybe just overlook? Is there something that comes to mind, like something that maybe they overlook they should do? I know you're saying kind of relationship with your money, but is there something like, you know, is it the back to when I was young, it's like just invest a little bit every month, like, you know, like, you know what I mean? So it's such a small thing, but is that just a good starting point? Like put a percentage of your paycheck away every month.
Yeah, I'm a big, we say it all the time, start now, start small, like, and not thinking now I don't have enough to put away, or just start small and let it grow from there. And that's probably one of the biggest things. Do the hard thing. Open up your bank account. Open up your credit card statements and see where you're actually spending your money. Because it can be very eye-opening. You think you're spending this way, but then when you look at your receipts, you're like, oh gosh, I didn't realize it was that much in that category. So it's scary and no one likes to do it, but that can be very eye-opening.
But it also allows, and I mean, you guys can speak to this more than I can, but it's like, when you open that up, it doesn't mean that you can't go for your Starbucks. You can't, like, it's the opposite to me, is that if you know, because like everybody's different. Whatever is important to Rob might be different to the next person. So but you can have a plan. That's the difference, is that I don't think you're saying, do not buy, like, don't have fun with your money. It's not what you're saying. It's the opposite. But how do we plan so you can do those and not be stressed? You don't want to be on vacation and all you're thinking about is how are we going to pay for this vacation. Like that's not healthy for anybody.
Right? So we're probably maybe an anomaly as financial advisors, but you want to live for today while planning for tomorrow. So we really want to help people find that balance, because we don't know how long we're going to live, but we still need to make sure that we have enough for when we do eventually retire, but not forsaking everything while you're alive now.
And then you add kids into the equation. Anyway, if you could give yourself, your younger self, financial advice, what's the one thing you would have done differently if you look back, knowing what you know today?
Well, for me, I
Yeah.
would have figured out, I would have started learning early because, like, I grew up in, like, that household. We didn't talk about money. It was taboo.
Right.
And like I said, I was in a different industry
Yep.
for the first 20 years of my career, did not manage money very well. So
Right.
knowing what I know now, getting into finance, I was like, oh, if I could only have done that, been there, done that before. But
Interesting.
yeah, go find someone that you can talk to and ask questions and just get started.
Yeah.
On something.
I love that.
So
even just being one of the takeaways from the summit we're at was being curious from a leadership perspective. Like, be curious from a personal perspective to ask those questions.
Yeah.
How about yourself? Is there anything that comes to mind?
Oh,
Like, I would have been won a
yeah,
lottery ticket.
right? That would have been great. That's a really tough one.
You were perfect. You didn't.
I was gonna say
I was
that.
not perfect. I was not perfect. But I think, because I have always been a saver, so
Okay. No, that's good.
But I think I would have maybe spent my money differently on things that I valued more.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love eating out, and that's my weakness.
Yeah.
But if I could have done different trips or other things
Right.
with that money, I think that would have been more fulfilling than my one takeout meal.
So
but I still enjoy it, so I budget for my takeout.
Yeah.
But
you mentioned sort of the education side, just learning and reading. Is there any like a podcast or a book or anything that you recommend, like anything that you've read or anything that you read or consume that you think people should? Is there anything that's out there, like, I don't know, like, because the internet's not all bad. Like, if you go on Google, there's people that know what they're talking about as well. So is there anything that comes to mind? Like, if you kind of do some self-learning, is there anything that comes to mind for people that they should do?
I think if you're online and you're wanting more of that type of resource, moneysense.ca. There's accredited financial planners that will write those articles, so they're great resources. Again, not all of it will be relevant to everyone, but I think that's a great starting point for some information to build upon.
Yep. And that I was going to say that for looking online, because otherwise, like, getting information online is like taking a drink out of a fire hydrant.
For sure.
Sometimes, right? But,
yeah, no, you're right.
And then there's just different books that speak to you. Happy Money, I like. Balance. I think it's Andrew Hallam. Like, just different things. It's all about getting that relationship with your money, right? Like, if you gotta have that. Figure out what your relationship and your style is, so you can kind of work with it. So,
Interesting. Interesting. Is there anything else you want to leave people with? So, is some last words of wisdom or thoughts that we want to? This is big. This is like the defining moment of this talk.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. I think if you're curious and want to learn more, just reach out to us. That's what we're here for, to help provide the tools and resources for you so that you can keep building upon your financial health.
I always go back to because I like kids and stuff, and I think that was the biggest thing that I got from doing what I do, is that I'm able to pass that on to my kids.
Right.
And I'm now going to watch them not go through the same struggles and stuff, and I love that. So, I mean, the biggest thing, for people to learn, so they can kind of pass that on, because it's not formally taught. So that's probably, my big, deep passion.
I like it. It's great. And one thing I'll add is, when I was getting prepared for even just chatting, like, your guys' website actually has some good information on too, right? Like, just going and just reading. There's
different articles,
or even follow your guys' LinkedIn. Like, you share stuff as well. So that's how I learn a lot, is just by consuming that sort of stuff, like going to find the experts and then listen to them, right? So even just go play around on the website if you're just curious as well. And then we will put the link, like, I believe your guys' contact is on your website. If you go to the Kelowna side, I think it's all there, so you can reach out directly as well. So, and if anyone interested in the Lunch and Learn, because I think that's a great resource, and I think businesses are absolutely silly if they don't take advantage of it. So reach out, and like I say, you get free lunch on top of it, and you get to learn. And I think your employees will love it, that you're doing something for them to help them, right? Because a lot of employees are younger employees, right? So I think it's a win-win and a win, right? So I think it really is. So And we'll put the link in there if people are wanting to reach out. So, but thank you for spending some time with us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
No problem. So everyone, we always encourage you guys to like, share, and watch our videos and send them out and to your friends and family. And until next time, have a great week. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.